In this haircut, the client actually came in with a picture, and so the picture haircut has completely nothing to do with his hair type and where the length of his hair is. So I was trying to work with him and go over with him of how to eventually get to that point. We were trying to accomplish kind of a side part, comb over to the side, but his top hair was not long enough, so we would have to wait a few haircuts in order to accomplish that. As far as the side goes, we are going to do a low skin fade, and we're gonna keep it tight all the way up to kind of the crown of the head. So here I'm creating my first guideline with my magic clippers. I don't like to create the first guideline with my Slimline Pros. For some reason, for me, it takes a little more work and time to get rid of that line. So what I do is I use the back of it. Instead of turning it around and using the teeth right against the skin, as you can see here, I just use the back of it to just create that line, and then I get rid of the hair. And then I come over with my Slimline Pros, which are also zero gap, just to get rid of all the hairs and stuff, but I don't go all the way up to where I created that initial guideline. Probably maybe like 1/8 of an inch below that line, just to create a smoother transition. Here I am going to open the lever and create my second guideline. For some reason my magic clippers were catching the hair, so I just got my seniors, created my second guideline. Here I took my one guard with also the blade open and creating the third guideline, and I'm also scooping out the hair. You can scoop, you cannot scoop, you can still achieve the same effect. It's just that for some reason I like scooping out just because it helps me blend everything else together. So I create a guideline and I get rid of a guideline, but for some reason in this haircut I created all the guidelines and then I went back down and got rid of them. So here I have my two guard with the lever open, just creating that, going all the way up to the crown of the head. So here with the two guard, I have the lever open, but then I do one side and then with the lever open, and I go back with the lever closed to get rid of that line. After that, I go back to my one guard and close the lever, so I can knock down that line that I created with the 1.5 between the half and the 1.5. Just keep in mind that this specific client has a very, not difficult, but kind of a challenging head shape. His head is very bumpy, especially on the back of the head. It's very bumpy and has extra skin hanging, so it get very tricky on the eyes. So you have to be very careful when checking your work. Here I just have my 1.5 guard, and I'm just kind of like smoothing out that transition between the two guard and the one guard. I'm opening and closing the lever just to go over the stuff, you know, make sure everything is nice and smooth. Like I said, you know, right there in the back of the head is a little bumpy, so be extra cautious about that. What happens is you think it's even, you look at it and then you say, oh, it's not. In all reality, it is all even. It's just the bumps and everything kind of makes it look like it's not even. So here I'm going back all the way down to that first guideline I created with my 000s. For some reason I don't like to use my half guard as much as most barbers do. Right here I am using just my lever halfway open, and I'm playing around with it. I'm opening, I'm closing little by little, trying to get that transition line out, trying to smooth out the skin as much as I can. To be honest with you, this was not a haircut that I am like super proud of. It could have been a lot better. I try to do my best in the time frame that we all have. I work with schedules, so as much as I try to give my all in the half an hour that I have, you know, I also have to keep in mind that I have clients that are booked. So here, just to find a little bit better, I take my 5-star shaver and right under that line that I created with the Slimline Pros, I just make it look a little more sharp, and that's that. So that transition here between the top and the sides, what I'm doing here is just, I'm not really blending anything. I'm just knocking down extra hairs that are sticking out. I didn't have to do that, to be honest with you. I could have just went straight with the scissors, but for some reason, I guess for demonstration purposes, I decided to do it. So here I have my my shears. I'm knocking down all that side hair. What I learned over the last few months of becoming a barber is that most barbers tend to spend most of their time on the fade part. They don't spend as much time on the top part as I think they should. I don't know why, but that's just what I've noticed. But what I try to do is, depending on what the client wants as far as the haircut, I try to spend about 50 or 35 to 40% of my time on the top of the hair as well. It's just as important as the fade. So if the top of the hair is not properly cut and texturized, then it's gonna feel heavy and it's gonna feel like it's impossible to style. What I did here is, like I said, I went over with the clip over comb, and then I evened out the sides with my shears, and then I texturized, doing a little technique that I learned watching YouTube channels, to be honest with you. Now I'm just going over with my razor, going over the lines and touching up and making all the details pop. The client did not want to touch the top of the hairline at all, so all I did was sideburns and just get rid of all the neck hairs. And here it is. This is the haircut that we've accomplished.